the cold weather. I guess I was wrong. Everybody I know all over the country is having some crazy ass weather. We went from warm and nice, and everybody was like, spring has sprung, to what the fuck is happening? Not a fan. It's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Joe Biden, okay? Because Joe Biden's not the president anymore. All right? Keep up. Keep up. Yeah. Early stream. That's because I am awake and I prefer actually to go live in the mornings, but usually my schedule just does not permit it. And I need to go to bed early tonight. So we'll see if we get anybody. If not, then, I'll go take a nap. I'm not sure why no one can answer that question, right? I work every night, pretty much. I work second shift, though. I don't work night shift anymore. Why, Stevie? Why? Because Trump was running for president. Right. Right. People were still dying of COVID. Yeah. Yeah, because he fucked it up. Okay. All right. Not really, because I miss putting the little one to bed every night. I prefer, honestly, I liked working overnight weekends more. Funny story, I got ratioed on Threads by bigots, so I don't really feel like it counts because I posted, "Hey, white people, leave black women alone on this app and in real life, for fuck's sake." And they got so fucking mad. So mad. And it wasn't like directed at anything in particular, it's just behavior that I noticed. That people were just being absolutely fucking abhorrent towards black women, and I was just tired of that. Did you see them in the comments? I can't tell you how many times I got called the N-word. So many people, like, are just fucking stupid. They're like, why would I leave them alone? I love them. Because you're a fucking idiot. You know that's not what I meant. You know that. And if you don't know that, I'm so sad for you. So sad for you. Like, how dumb do you have to be? That's a serious question. How dumb do you have to be? It's wild. It's wild. These You could have. You don't have to keep it cute. We don't mind. I'd be mean. Most of the time, I just ignore them. He called everybody with a learning disability dumb yesterday. Wow. That doesn't say much about him. For many reasons. Hmm. 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 He's the worst president we've ever fucking had. He called Gavin the sitting president. Oh boy. Man doesn't even know he's president. Sorry, I just like full on yawned. I think that you should have the no chill. I have the no chill often, and I love it. I bet it was, but I'm not a fan of Gavin Newsom. I think that he is not a great person. I mean, if he ends up being our candidate, then that is what it is. But I am not a Gavin Newsom fan. Well, that's 'cause you're fucking awesome, Jordani. That's why. Oh, thank you. I don't know what that is, but that is cute. Thanks. I appreciate that. Am I Iranian? No, I am not. User whatever says Democrats are stupid. Mm-mm-mm-mm. You're gonna pray for the left? What are you gonna pray for? What's up, Juju? How are you? Well, Phil, I mean, hopefully we stick to the rules here and they don't let Trump's name show up on that ballot again, but you never fucking know. You never fucking know. Right, exactly. Ron Paul and Thomas Massey are the only politicians you support. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. I know. I know. Um, I don't I don't I don't want to say I really support any politician. I think I support some of their policies and some of their stances, but I wouldn't say that I fully support anybody. Francis, you're just being a parrot. You know what? Matter of fact, Francis, I'm gonna send you an invite because I really want to have this conversation. I want to know why you think Democrats are anti-American. And you could have just wrote Democrats and capitalized the rats part instead of making yourself look stupid by writing demo rats. But, I guess. I want to know why Democrats are anti-American. Mm. Dems are race baiting, no good, having baby killing Satanist commie branch Covidians. Okay, Fred. Okay. Well, Francis, you're a pussy. You won't come up here and have a conversation. You get muted. That's just how it works, man. That's just how it works. I'm surprised you can type a coherent sentence. For those of you on other platforms, Fred Thomas said, I'm surprised you can read. I have to restart the live here on TikTok because, no, no, no. Meth, I will talk to people. But if you're not going to come up and have a conversation, then you get muted because you don't get to just run your mouth in the chat. Do you want to come up and talk? There you go. I sent you an invite, which you're ignoring. I'm waiting on you, buddy. Oh, see, you ignored it. Oh no, you accepted it. Look at that. You're here. See, you can talk. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it. Why do you support the GOP? Okay, why? Uh, You're just saying. You're just saying. Well, communists don't. But communists don't want to tax you, sweetheart. Communism is a moneyless, classless, stateless society. So, in order to tax people, you would need money. And stateless is the implication that there's no government, no formal government. So, it would not be communists trying to tax you. Sure, sure. What I said is normal. So, what are we taxing you on if it's moneyless? What are we taxing you on if it's moneyless? How are we paying taxes? That communism is a moneyless, stateless, classless society. So that was my point to you, that communists aren't trying to tax you. So I mean, you send a whole bunch of words. So what policies specifically do you support? Let's do that instead of just words. Yeah, that's not a policy. That's a word. So you support people having due process. So how do you feel about this administration and its mass deportations? It's a general issue. I know what you mean. So if people are just being issued deportation orders without having the opportunity to plead their case, or if they have status in this country and their status is being removed, you wouldn't think that that would be against what the policies are, against due process. Because of previous incidences, it's a blanket removal of temporary protected status. I'm asking you what you think is right or wrong. If we have people who have come to this country who are here under temporary protected status, who've built lives, who are participating in our processes the way that they're set forth, to have their temporary protected status removed and kicked out of the country, you feel that that's right? Without incident, just removing their protected status. Just asking you a question, friend. It's not that deep. I'm asking you on a moral level. Do you think that, for people to come here and they have homes and their children are going to school and they're working and they're contributing to society and they haven't broken any rules, for them to have their protected status removed and then have them removed from the country? Do you think that that's right? Okay. But from that's not really what's happening. It's just anybody and everybody. It's people who are going through the process, who are going through the legal channels, who are getting picked up at court dates. Like we know that that's not what's happening. And it's okay to be in favor of legal immigration. I'm in favor of legal immigration. As a matter of fact, I think that our immigration process needs a very, very large overhaul. But my question to you is, when we have these people who are doing the right things, who are doing things the legal way, why are we punishing these people? And why are you okay with that? Mm. It doesn't matter if they're vocal or not, they're not voting citizens. They have the right to express their feelings, sure, but ultimately they're not voting. Besides the Heritage Foundation, do you have a study that shows that? Stand up for what's mm, because human rights, because we have, we have a moral obligation to take care of people. Well, most of the people who come from other countries, especially Latin countries, come here because we destabilize their country. Sir, no. It is not our business to police these other countries, but it is our business to keep our house in order, right? And if part of our keeping our house in order is immigration, then we need to fix the immigration people and not tear families apart and put pregnant people in detention centers without access to adequate medical care, or people in general who haven't had access to adequate medical care. There's like a 5-year-old kid who hasn't seen a doctor because he hasn't pooped in 10 days. You know that's a medical emergency at that point. Like that's what I'm talking about, human rights. We can't treat people like cattle. They're not. They're humans. Who is saying that? Well, we're saying that we have to take their people. You can't deport because you can't because when we talk about refugee status and asylum and things like that, they're like internationally agreed upon policies. So we can't. We decided to enter into an agreement, and so we cannot change what we're doing without a negotiation. We can't just be like, nah, fuck you guys. Like, it doesn't work that way. That's not how normal people operate. It's not how business is done. What is an agreement, friend? An agreement is something that parties, multiple, two or more, agree upon. So when you have an agreement, you must abide by said agreement. If you choose not to abide by said agreement, then you need to renegotiate. And if we have not renegotiated said agreement, then we are bound to that agreement. It's the same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine gave up their weapons in order for us to protect them. So we must protect Ukraine. Who's saying that we have to take in an innumerable amount of refugees? Nobody's saying that. Do you want to look it up and see what the actual policies and stuff are? It's not specifically for Mexico. It is according to the 1950, it this okay. The 1951 Refugee Convention essentially says that it is the prohibition against returning refugees to persecution. So if people are coming here in a refugee status, that's what applies. So just a, that's what you said. You said that they were coming here on a refugee status. That's what we're specifically what we're talking about. The likelihood of that is no. But so you're moving the goalposts because you specifically said refugees. So we were talking about refugees, and now you're moving the goalpost. Hmm. But sir, that's the problem, right? When we're having these people who are coming here, who are going through the legal process and going to their court dates and following the um what's the word I want to use? The qualifications for certain statuses set forth, right? They're following those things. But then they're being picked up at their court dates and removed from their country. We're not abiding by what we said we would abide by. They're going through the process. They're doing things through the legal channel, but they're still being picked up and removed. So we're not abiding by that. Mm. Where do you have a statistic on that? Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to look it up. I want to see that. And what is your claim specifically that people aren't going to court dates, refugees aren't going to court dates, or just immigrants in general? Well, we can look at immigration in general then. Well, I mean, we still have to abide by due process, whether or not people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. We still have to abide by due process and prove that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. How many, like, just out of curiosity, how many, like, percentage-wise, just guess, how many people don't attend their court hearings? Just out of, just guess, like, percentage-wise, how many people do not attend their court dates? Small. It's a smaller percentage than that. It's smaller than It's smaller than that. It's less than 20. Yes, between 83 and 96% of people attend their court hearings. And the reason given for those that don't go are essentially they're afraid of deportation, which is not an excuse. I don't agree with that. lack of notice or administrative errors. As somebody who has gone through the immigration process, a lack of notice is not that person's fault. But unfortunately, they get captured into that statistic, right? So realistically, it's a smaller amount. Well, the order has to be entered, and in many cases, there's no order for removal. They're just picking them up. No, these people are being picked up outside their court dates when an order hasn't been issued. They're just getting picked up. That's not right. And you can agree with me on that, that that's not right, right? You can agree with that? Who is outside the court? Because they've gone to their court date. They've gone to their court date with no removal order being issued and still being picked up. The agents are waiting outside in the court. Correct. Yes. No, sir. This is a different set of people. That's why I asked you when we were talking about due process. I said if they're going through the legal process and they're showing up to their court dates, why are these people still being picked up and deported? There's no order. Many people have been removed without order, without a previous order. So what do you, so what do you, what do you think is the solution to this problem? First of all, I don't think immigration is a problem, and we see that these mass deportations are significantly hurting our agricultural industry, to name one industry that it's hurting, so much so that they're expanding the H-2A visa program again. But like, what do you think is the solution to this? Mhm. Mm. Mm. Well, that's over 70%. Like Ash said, that's over 70% of the people that are here. Or I'm sorry, Alex said. So that's over 70, that's the vast majority. I know. I do not. No, nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does. If people are here, there's not a single person, and the chat can agree or disagree with this, just for, polling purposes. But not a single person here believes that if somebody is in this country and committing crimes and harming people, should they remain? Nobody believes that. But the problem is that we're not vetting people appropriately. Most of the people here, and I'm not talking about prior to their entry, I'm talking about the people here that are being removed. There are people here, most of the people who are being removed do not have any criminal convictions. They're not wanted for anything. They're just here living and working. They're not. And I think you're misunderstanding. I think you're misunderstanding. People are not defending criminals. People are defending our Constitution and our laws and want to see things done the correct way. Okay. Why? Because due process wasn't followed. That's why his deportation order was lifted. Mhm. You're right. We can't because we have a felon as the fucking president, and people still think he's a good guy. Like we can't. How can we agree on that if it's we're if that's such a fundamental difference? Do you see that? Do you see the double standard? If he is a felon, if he is a felon, and we don't want those people in this country, then why is he allowed to remain president? What is Afro Latina Queen saying right now? She said you voted for a fucking felon, which is true. If you voted for Donald Trump, you voted for a felon. If you didn't vote, fine, you didn't vote. They can't. They're not defending them. They're talking about you. They made the assumption that you voted for Donald Trump. So you voted for a felon, but defending a process. Now, I know you didn't vote for a felon, but this was under the assumption. Okay. So then ignore that. Ignore Everybody has to have due process. Abuelita has to have due process. Joe Schmo has to have, like, we can't pick and choose. We cannot cherry pick. We cannot. Offer no solution. That's not true. I support removing people who are causing harm to society. Like, what are you talking about? But we have to follow the laws. We can't just do whatever we want. But he needs to be yes, yes, and the chat is saying the same thing. Even Afro Latina who agreed with you said you're being no, she said you are being disingenuous. No one wants criminals here. No one does. But we also recognize that we have processes in place, and those processes apply to everybody on US soil. And when we start cherry picking as to who is afforded due process and who is not, that is a slippery slope. Nobody thinks nobody thinks that. What we're against, what we're against is going into schools, churches, picking people up and separating families. Like there needs to be an overhaul to our immigration system, and mass deportation isn't it, because again, like I brought up earlier, now we're having an issue with especially the agricultural industry where we don't have enough workers because Donald Trump's whole premise was if we get the illegal immigrants out, if we get undocumented people out, that Americans will fill the jobs and Americans will fill the fields. Well, they're not, friend. And so now an industry that relied on migrant work is now having to expand their migrant visa programs in order to get more people back here after we kicked people out. They're no, they're not low value jobs. They're very important jobs. They're manual labor jobs. The point the point is is that migrants and migrant workers and immigrants are essential to our economy. And by doing these mass deportations, we're causing harm to industries that we absolutely positively must have running efficiently in order for this country to work. That's the point. It's never been racist to say that that a certain demographic works in the majority of an industry. Like nursing is a predominantly female field. Is it sexist to say that nursing is a predominantly female field? No, it's not. It's not sexist to say that because we have the statistical data that shows that most nurses, not all, because there are men who are nurses, but most are women. That's not sexist to say that. That's a statistical fact. Yeah, that was the fucked up thing to say. The way that she said it, the way that she said it was not was the way that she said it was not tactful. We need people to do those jobs, and the way that they're saying them, how is it different? Well, I don't know exactly what Nancy Pelosi said, but I know what Kelly Osbourne said. If Nancy Pelosi said we need these people to stay because they're the demographic that fills these jobs the most, that's different than saying, well, who's going to clean my hotel room? It makes it different. Mm. Jeff, I see. Okay, bye. We got Jeff and Curly coming up. Maybe. Yeah, he ran. As soon as I said, Jeff, I see you. Curly, you're not loading. His viewing is. Oh, jeez. Jeez Louise. I agree, Vincenzo. I agree. Exactly, Birdie Dog. Curly, you gotta try again, friend. Oh, Curly is a friendly? Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Look, we have laws in place, right? And the laws that are in place apply to everybody on United States soil. We don't get to cherry pick. We don't get to pick and choose. But immigration is more nuanced than that. Even on top of the fact that people aren't getting due process and why they're not getting due process is very nuanced. And ultimately, the problem with immigration is not people coming to this country documented or undocumented. The problem with this country and our immigration is the system itself. It is not efficient, it is not cost effective, and those are the main issues. If we made immigration more accessible, less people would come here undocumented. There's no reason for us to continue down the path that we're on when we know that the path that we're on doesn't work, right? Yes, Kelly, they were raiding fields. Yes, Joseph, I agree with you. I agree with you. Sure, strawberry, let's do it. But immigration is very nuanced. topic, right? And the only way for us to fix what is going on with immigration is to fix our immigration system. And there's many different ways that we can do that. But when we dumped billions of dollars into ICE instead of into our immigration system, we fucked up. The solution was not to remove everybody. That was not the solution, nor is it the solution today. And we're seeing that. And that's why I brought up the thing with the expansion of H-2A visas, right? Yes, Diava, we destabilized their countries. But in order to fix immigration, we have to fix the system and the flaws in the system itself. So instead of dumping billions of dollars into ICE, what we should have done, and what we still can do, is dump money into our immigration system. We need more judges. We need more administrative workers to process paperwork. And the paperwork shouldn't be as expensive. And you know what? This is one thing I know a lot of people hate Joel Patrick. I don't particularly like the guy, but I don't dislike the guy either. I feel like since he became a dad, well, in front of me, because I have heard that Joel Patrick is a completely different person when I'm not around, which is a whole other thing. But to make the cost of immigration more accessible, not necessarily to lower the cost, but to give people payment plan options where they every time they have a court date, they have to pay X amount of money, or you know, put their asses on on a firm, but making it more accessible from a monetary standpoint for people who are trying to come here, because it is very expensive to come here. When I sponsored a family member, it cost $2,000 just for that family member, and that's not including an attorney because I did everything myself. So imagine coming from a country where the value of your currency is half that of the United States, and you have to pay this in US dollars. Can you imagine being poor, beyond poor, and having to come up with 4 grand per person? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So should you be excluded from coming to the United States because you don't have that money for the paperwork per person that you're bringing here? When you know that you bring skilled labor, when you know that you're a hardworking person, when you know you just want to raise your family? I don't think so. I agree, Ange. I agree. A lot of American citizens would not be able to come up with that money either. But if we make immigration more accessible, it would solve a lot of problems. $45,000? Holy shit. I thought I paid a lot paying 2 grand. I sponsored a family member to come here. That's awesome. Strawberry. Uh, correct, Vincenzo. Nobody wants criminals here. Who the fuck wants criminals? Who wants people who are a detriment to society? Nobody wants that. Just saying, give people due process. I agree, Phoebe. Shit, I might even struggle. I might even struggle taking the citizenship test. I think didn't we do that one time? Didn't we take like a mock citizenship test on live? Bye bye. That's not true, friend, because the Republican president, is a grapist and a schmedishmile. So who really loves grapists and schmedishmiles? And if you want to talk about illegals, we can talk about how his wife lied to get her visa too. So how do y'all feel about that? Because she's not a genius. Where are your facts to show it? Bye bye. Because what you stated was an opinion. What I stated was a fact. It's hard. The citizenship test is hard. The citizenship test is not easy. No, I just got the best text message ever and I haven't even read it yet. Correct, Gary. She doesn't qualify for the visa that she has or had. I don't have you blocked. That's so weird. Um, Hold on. I have to fix something real quick. Wu-Tang is texting me. Yeah, we're friends. Hmm. Good morning, Six. If you're trying to call in, typically I don't answer the phone when I have somebody on the line because then it turns into like a shit show. But if you do want to call in, you can call in at 407-494-6368. I will happily answer the phone for you right now. Yes, Rachel, I did close Discord. I made an announcement before I did it because nobody is active in Discord at all except for like me and Bethy and sometimes Kiki. And so in order for me to take something off my plate, I closed the Discord group. If we want to open Discord back up and start fresh, we can do that, but that server just it died. I mean that in like the sense that a battery dies, TikTok, not in the sense that a human being expires or becomes deceased. There you are, Mutang. Yay! I'm glad you found me. I'm glad I'm seeing you. You changed your profile picture. Oh, this guy sent me an email. And he put in his name. His name is Mark Wang. And I called him Mark, and he's like, please address me as Mr. Wang. And then asked if I want to work with him. Like, no, bro. What the fuck? His whole email was just condescending as shit. I don't want to work with you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Good morning. Yeah, you have impeccable timing. Impeccable. So we just saw yet another example of somebody who wants to remove people from this country but doesn't support our constitution. Like you can't cherry pick. It is a legit name. Oh, I gotta stretch. Ooh. That is true, Doc. YT Americans bring in the majority of schmugs. That is true. Through various ports of entry. But, YT people are always doing the mostest. Can I cross into Mexico and live? I can cross into Mexico and live. I've been to Mexico numerous times. And you know what? Nobody bothered me. I didn't even get catcalled. Can't do that here. Bro, you can just like you can cross into our country and apply for status, you can do that there too. It's not difficult. Shit. There are countries across the world now that are accepting United States citizens who are seeking asylum. You might not be able to work legally, but you can go into their country and set up shop. That's nice, Ari. Thank you, Lee. I want to go to another country. I'm trying to get my fucking Colombian citizenship, but my dad is dragging his feet and making this shit take a hell of a lot longer than it has to. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be out of this shit show. I would happily leave this country. You watch my live for 100 minutes? Awesome. You'll donate to me? Cool. Pay links is in the bio. I have a family of 4. Have a great day, Lions Mane. That's awesome. My Spanish is a little bit shitty, but when I'm like immersed in it, it's much better. It's much better. When I don't have to like when I don't have the option to speak English, then I'm fine. But if I have the option to speak English, I'm not gonna lie, I'm lazy. I'd rather speak English. It's my preference. It's my primary language. That's my, you know, that's what I'm fluent in. My Spanish is not fluent. Although I do honestly when we go to the Dominican Republic, we used to have a place like and spend a lot of time around family. Fucking slack, go away. Um, who don't speak English. Like my Spanish is much better spoken and understanding wise, but like I also dream in Spanish and think in Spanish when I'm like completely immersed in it. But when I have the option for English, I go to English. Colombia is spelled with 2 O's, babe. I didn't say that, Jaflor. I just said that I speak Spanish. It's just not my preferred language. See? Keep up. What did Danny Turner say? I don't know what Danny Turner said. I would love to learn multiple languages. I really would love to speak Italian just because I want to speak Italian and it's very similar to Spanish, and I understand a lot of Italian already. Um, but I don't speak it. You're much smarter in English. Go live in Cuba. Yeah, how are things going in Cuba right now? Thanks, America. That is true, Veronica. America is a continent. We got North and South America. The United States is a country. Too, and because I feel stupid, but I know that like my accent is good, and I know that I can speak and be just fine, but for some reason I get shy about it. Hold on one second if you're calling in um, to the line. I'm gonna try to answer it before you hang up. Give me a sec. Give me just a second. Because it's not ringing through on the computer, it's just ringing through on my phone. So if you're calling in right now, just hang up and call right back because it's not ringing through. It's only ringing through on my phone. But I promise. You never got used to it. Yeah, if you're calling from unknown, I can't even call you back, babe. You're gonna have to call. I I turned the phone line on the computer so we can actually have a chat. Fluffy llama. Hello. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. Do you still support the GOP? Okay, thanks. Do you still support the GOP or are you not a Republican voter? Do you vote Republican? Yes or no? So you're a groiper. So what about Nick Fuentes makes you agree with him? So Nick Fuentes has like a fundamental principles that he lives by. Which of those do you agree with? Like, why do you watch Nick Fuentes? What does that mean to you? But those are just words. What does that mean to you? What does that look like? Am I an American citizen? Yes. Fuck those guys. The Israeli government is a piece of shit. I don't feel that way about Israeli people or Jewish people, but I feel that way about their government. Okay. So, but Nick, did you vote for Trump? Okay. Do you still support Donald Trump? Like, if you could go and vote again today, would you vote for Donald Trump again? Why? You don't support him working with Israel, with Iran? I mean, 90% of the fucking people in our government support Israel, so. So I think they have a significant amount of control over certain decisions we make, sure. Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is questionable to me, but like I'm just it's like pulling teeth to get information out of you as to where you stand. The topic of discussion here is why do you still support the GOP? So, do you support the GOP is the Republican Party? Do you support the Republican Party as a whole? Yes or no? Okay. Did you used to? What changed your mind? No, they get a little pissy about it. E-files is fine. All right. Well, thanks for coming up. I'm gonna, all right. Thanks for coming up. I'm going to drop you back down. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, Ashby, I was trying to get him to have like a conversation and to like maybe deconstruct that a little bit, but that that was just I don't have the patience for pulling teeth. I'm not a dentist. I agree, Aubrey. I agree. I'm gonna make a shirt. How many of y'all would make a shirt or would get a shirt that says "Rooting for the Widowmaker"? Yeah, Stokes. But I thought he was gonna say something like that we could actually have a conversation about and deconstruct. But like I said, I'm not a dentist. I'm not gonna pull teeth. Right, Ange. I agree. Because so some guy on one of the tubies, his username is literally some guy, says because the alternative is too far left, if they could rein it in some. Some guy, can you call in at 407-494-4348? I would love to hear. You can block your number. You don't have to have your number out. I have the call line open now. I would love to hear your perspective on that. Like, what do you mean by rein it in? Like, what does that look like for you? What policies are working, aren't working? Let's have a conversation about it. I would really love to talk to you about it. Thoughts on Pam Bondi being subpoenaed to testify? She's not she's not. Why am I so zoomed in? Like, on here, I'm little. When I look on here and I see, like, my actual self, it's just like, bam, face. I don't know why it's like that. I think she's going to lie. I think she's going to lie and, like, deflect and do the shit that she did anymore. I agree, Stooks, I think we need people who are even more progressive. Sorry you have to look at my face so large, but, I mean, at least it's a decent face. Usually Pure Joy said, "Usually a male dentist does the teeth pulling." Do I think she's next to be canned? Yeah, she's on the chopping block. Faux show. Faux show. She's going to act like a fool like the last time. Decent face. That was 50,000. Yeah, we do need people who are overly progressive to shift the Overton window back to the left because it has shifted so far right. I have a headache. I've had a headache for a few days, so I'm wearing my blue light glasses to try to see if it'll help, but it's not helping too much. It's because of the weather. The weather it got really cold again, and then it was raining. So someone posted online that she'll be placed with Alina Abba. Maybe. Yeah, and scare the shit out of them. Have somebody super fucking far left, and they go, "What the fuck?" and move them back towards the middle. She's gonna act like she's legally. Yeah, it fucks me up. It fucks me up. I've had, like, a lot of sinus pressure. Oh, deaf, got it. Yeah, it fucks me up. I get a lot of sinus pressure. I get sinus headaches real bad, especially when it's, like, rainy and cold. Oof, man. It's rough. It's rough. Just 3 binders. Did Alina I don't know if Alina Abba lost her law license. She might have been sanctioned. Or whatever it is that the bar association calls it. That's Opus. I don't care about closing Opus. Did Alina lose her license to practice law? Allow. No, she did not. In December of 2025, she was disqualified by a federal appeals court from serving as the acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey due to unlawful appointment. That's why. That's what happened. That's what happened. So she didn't lose her license to practice law. She was just disqualified as acting uh, as an attorney general. Oh, yeah, they're both fucking dumb. And Bondi's out of Florida. Come on now. Okay, Dems. Whatever you say. Dem said, "Why are you wearing my grandmother's glasses on your face? Those are about the most hideous grandma glasses I've ever seen in my life. Please stop. It's hurting people's eyes." These are my Mia Khalifa glasses. That doesn't surprise me, Stokes. Oh, man. The ad homs are heavy over on YouTube. Chris says, "I'm aging like Sleepy Joe." Chris, just out of curiosity, how old do you think I am? Ooh, that sucks, I'm sorry. How do you guys feel about Joe Kent resigning and his remarks yesterday? Sidney Powell is the one that lost their license for their involvement in Georgia. You hate New York weather. You believe in barely 30. Nah, I'm 40. I'm 40, Chris. So if you're saying that I'm aging like Sleepy Joe and you're like 5 to 10 years off, well, 5 to 15 years off, because you also said 26. Um, Joe Kent is a sellout, right? At least Joe Biden didn't shit his pants. Fun fact, I know how you feel. If you look at my eyes real close, this eye doesn't open as much as this eye. So that's why, like, I take pictures like this, like you see my eye. This eye is fucked up. This eye is fucked up because I was in a domestic, or oh, I can't say that, in a relationship in which DV occurred, and I got punched in the face, and it fucked up my eye, and so now I have like a lazy eye. Mm. But you can tell when I'm like this, which is normally how I take my pictures too. But you can see that this eye does not open quite as much as that eye. So you learned something new about me. Yes, I am serious. I am serious. No, this is from an injury. This is from an injury. That's why it's very noticeable when you look at my eyes. Like, if you were just look at my eyes, you'd be like, that one's wonky. This is my wonky eye. It's fine. It was a long time ago. It was how many years ago now? I think it was 15 years ago. It's a war injury. It's fine. Like, it doesn't, to talk about that and um, what happened is okay because I know, one, I've healed, and two, um, having those conversations and knowing that there could be somebody listening who sees me and sees that I made it out of DV and I'm doing okay, it could inspire them to know that they can get out and they can be okay too. 10 years, wow. Have a good day, some guy. My eye didn't get broken. I had a severely swollen eye from getting punched in the face. And I'm not going to go into detail here because it can be triggering for people. Um, but it's pretty bad. They say it's from sleep apnea. I've never heard that, but I believe it. He got his, don't worry. He got his. So, I may or may not have bashed him in the head with a lamp, defending myself. Out cold. Men are something else, user. Men are something else. I love you, Cure. Just to get into a relationship with another piece of shit. I gotta stop trying to fix people. That's what it is. I'm like, oh, pet project. I can fix him. He's not gonna treat me that way. Mm. Mm. No, I hit him in the head with a lamp. I would fight back. I would fight back for the most part. There were certain instances where I didn't that involve SA. So, well, now it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to go through, and it's a hard thing to watch somebody go through. But um, what the fuck was that? Why does Slack keep opening on my fucking computer? This is so annoying. Go away. Is he? I don't know. I don't know. Nor do I care. He hasn't changed a bit. Where's MAGA? Let's talk gas prices. Fuck yeah, last week? Well, a little bit longer than a week ago. Gas here where I'm at was $2.79. You know what it was this morning? $4 for regular. What about them gas prices, MAGA, huh? The cost of eggs and groceries, those haven't come down. Gas is going back up. Gas is actually going to get even more expensive, and I'm working on a story right now. Unfortunately, I probably am not going to get it out before the news breaks nationally, but it's going to get more expensive. My milk, my eggs are so expensive. What's old boy's name? You talking about the guy that I dated that was also on TikTok? Patrick Jones, aka Mr. Jones X. Wow, 6.29 for diesel is pretty high. Roots on the ground. Shut up, Ashby. uh, oh my god. Those were some times. Right, they will, Carly. They will still say it was better than voting for Kamala, and then you're like, well, why? Yeah, Mr. Global is a great source when you're talking about the oil industry, but I know somebody who works directly in the oil industry who's talking about something that's going on right now. It's still an improvement compared to your king. What? Right. And wow, just in one afternoon it went up 30 cents? No, Patrick did not do that to me. He didn't do that to me. Just to be clear, there was no DV. There was other forms of abuse involved, but there was no physical violence involved because I would have beat his motherfucking ass. Seattle is forever expensive. Regular gas is 4.50 to 5.50. 4.89 by you. 4.89 in West Michigan. New York is going up right now. Went up 60 cents in Ohio in 2 days. Yeah, gas is getting fucking expensive. Fed, what up, friend? Hi. I'm good. I'm good. Listen, so I sold my car in order to get out of this debt that I'm in, right? That fuck. Hmm? Oh, no, I was gonna tell you, I sold my car to get out of the debt that this fuckhead left me in, right? So the car that I drive now, okay, it's not, it's YouTube. Let's say goodbye to YouTube because they're not even active. Bye, YouTube. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.